And we'll find any comfortable seat that feels right for you. You know, you could be sitting on a chair or on a cushion, but finding a comfortable seat where you can sort of settle, whether that's legs crossed or not. And to begin with, you can just allow the hands to rest either palms up or palms down onto the knees or thighs or maybe into the lap. Sometimes it might intuitively feel better to maybe rest the hands somewhere on the body, on the belly or on the chest. And just allow the eyes to settle, whether that means closing them completely or just allowing them to soften. And take a nice long, slow breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh that breath out. And just do that a couple more times, breathing in through the nose. Releasing the breath out. And again. And let the breath move in and out through the nose now. Feeling the breath in, begin to take up a little bit more space in and around the belly area. Allowing the belly to really soften and receive the breath in. But almost visualizing you could breathe down into the foundation of your seat, breathe down into pelvis and pelvic floor region. So feeling for this low and slow breath beginning to form in quite a full and spacious way. And notice as you start to breathe in this coherent way whether there's any effort or strain around the breath, and can you perhaps breathe in a more effortless and unstruggled way that's quite soft but still spacious. Breathing down into belly, but also breathing wide into the rib cage, breathing into the front, the sides and the back of the rib cage. So this sense of spreading the breath wide throughout the body. And as you breathe in this more intentional way, just let the breath welcome you into this space a little bit more fully and connect you with what's true for you in this moment. Let the breath connect you with the physical body and maybe connect you with where there might be a sense of holding, any habitual tension being held around the face, particularly the jaw area. Maybe there can be an invitation of unraveling, unclenching, unwinding in those areas where perhaps habitual tension is residing. That could be neck, that could be shoulders. And if you feel as though as you bring awareness to those areas, you need to move those areas to perhaps invite them to relax and settle, then you can welcome any intuitive movement. But feeling into the physical body and also sensing what's there perhaps on a more subtle, more energetic level. How this practice of slowing down and turning inwards can perhaps bring a sense of balance for you energetically. Maybe that's to soothe or calm you or to brighten you or uplift you or refresh you in some way. And notice the mind, notice the way in which the mind is moving. Noticing thoughts as they come and as they go, as a form of energy, as a form of motion within. And notice where you experience mind. When you perhaps connect with mind, do you notice that consciousness or that awareness is somewhat in and around the head? Maybe that's forehead or somewhere else. Just notice if that's true or not. And if it is true, can you sense that almost this awareness or this consciousness is lowering and resting more in and around the chest space? Let your awareness rest in the chest, the center of the chest. And still guiding the breath to take up space down in the belly and guiding the breath to move wide into the rib cage, but almost finding this third phase of breath in and around the heart space, in and around the chest, the center of the space where the sternum is, but also the same space in the back of the body, the space between the back of the shoulder blades, the upper back. And our practice today is going to be very much centered and focused around this connection with the heart space, the spiritual heart space, or the Anahata chakra, which is just slightly to the right of the physical heart, which is slightly left of center. So right in the middle of the chest, this energetic heart or this spiritual heart. And it can be a really beautiful place to sort of reside and connect with. And like all of these tools and techniques and practices, none of them are prescriptive. They don't necessarily have inherent qualities, and we might not all resonate or connect with these different parts of us in the same way. So as always, it's very much about your unique connection and what is revealed and what you notice and what these practices create within you to an extent. But the yogis often spoke about sort of this connection with the heart space being a connection to our essence nature, or the soul, or spirit. The yogis use the word Atman for this place. This sort of individual sense of spirit, the individual soul, or who we are in our essence, if you like, this unchanging part. You could call that awareness, you could call that consciousness, whatever resonates with you as that sort of unchanging part of you. And just feel the breath moving in and out. Feel the breath connecting you with this place. On the more physical level, you can feel the breath moving there, but also can the breath begin to connect you with this space on a more subtle level. Sometimes you might sense that there's perhaps tightness or tension, and actually breathing into this space isn't all that easy, and just knowing that if that's true, that that's okay, just allowing this to be a really gentle practice, letting the breath almost be like a salve to begin to soften around this space, to welcome a spacious quality here. Even though we are guiding the breath to take up space here, we're still breathing down into belly. It's not that we're lifting the breath up. Remembering that in order for the breath to be quite soothing and therapeutic, we need it to move in the belly in that diaphragmatic movement. So we're still encouraging that and still connecting with that. But it's almost as though once the belly and the rib cage are full, we find this third phase of breath lifting and connecting us with the heart space. And this Anahata chakra, or this essence nature, is said to be who we are on a kind of soul level. And the yogis believed that this sort of energetic quality, or the resonance or the vibration of the heart, is said to be at the same frequency as this pure, unbound, unconditional love and compassion. So a really warm, really radiant energy, a really beautiful energy. And it's said that we all have this within us, and that these practices can hopefully let us tap into that and allow us to connect with that and really breathe and connect with that radiance of the heart. And it's also an area that we can sort of put a lot of armor up around. We can store a lot of past hurts around the heart. It's another one of our emotional centers. We can carry a lot of emotion here. And so it can be quite a vulnerable practice sometimes. So like with all of these practices, we go really slowly, really gently, really hopefully quite therapeutically. And there's a sense of just holding space for all that is there. Not needing to label anything as good or bad, not needing to bring that sense of judgment. But breathing into the heart space, and perhaps beginning to notice that as you breathe this softness, this spacious quality, that there is a warmth, there is a radiance at the heart. And we're going to join the thumb and index finger of either hand. I'm going to demonstrate with the right hand, but you don't need to worry which hand ever feels the most comfortable for you. And as you join the thumb and index finger of either hand together, just let where the thumb and index finger meet rest in the center of the chest, into the heart space. And you can just allow the other three fingers to rest to the side. And letting that almost connect you on a more tangible level with this space, with this center, and connect with the warmth of your touch, that intimacy between the hand and the heart, and breathing into the warmth of your touch. And just letting your awareness rest just behind where the mudra rests, so right in the center of the body. And maybe if you're a visual person, you visualize a light. You might connect with that with a golden light, or a rose gold, or maybe a green light. These are just a few ideas. If you are visual, you can just go with whichever color light resonates for you and feels right for you. If you're not a visual person, you don't need to worry, just sensing this energetic quality. Maybe it's simply the movement of breath around the heart space. Allowing awareness to rest in the space at the center of the chest. And sense that as you breathe in, this energetic quality, this luminosity of the heart space glows a little bit brighter, expands and almost gets a little bit bigger, expands in all directions. And as you exhale, it softens back to itself. There's a returning, a drawing inwards. So letting your awareness and your breath allow for this expansion and contraction, this ebb and flow, this movement of energy around the heart space. Breathing in, feeling the energy glowing and growing. And breathing out, feeling it soften back to itself, back to its center. And as you breathe in, silently sounding the mantra Sat. Breathing in Sat. And as you breathe out, silently sounding the mantra Yam. Breathing out Yam. And Sat is one of the Sanskrit words for truth. And Yam is the bija sound, which means seed sound of the heart. So the sound Yam is said to vibrate at the same frequency of the heart. It's also one of the Sanskrit words for the self. So we're connecting with this mantra to the truth of the heart, the truth of the self, which arguably are the same thing. Connecting to this part of self that is unchanging, this pure truth, beyond the layers of self that we often identify with, the physical body, the mind, beyond the labels that we give ourself, that we identify with, names, the roles that we play, titles, beyond the stories that we often identify with and the lived experience. So beyond all of those things, this truth that is always there, that's unchanging and is very, very steady. This quieter place within, but that is really radiant, really bright, really luminous. This warmth and this pure unconditional love, this pure unchanging compassionate quality within. Breathing in Sat, connecting with that warmth and radiance of the heart, and breathing out Yam. Allowing awareness to reside in the center of the chest, watching the breath move in and out, letting the breath, awareness, and the mantra steady and focus the attention. And if the mudra helps you to stay focused and connected with the heart space, you can keep it. Otherwise, you can release the mudra and just let the hand rest anywhere and just almost still sense that warmth of where the mudra was, keeping the awareness there. Inhaling Sat, exhaling Yam. And all of these tools and techniques are really concentration techniques to focus our awareness and our attention on, which is almost a precursor to meditation, if you like. And depending on how busy the mind feels or how present you naturally feel, you can decide whether to keep the mantra or not. You can always try and see how it feels to let go of the mantra and just rest the awareness in the heart space without any effort. Let go of the effort of breathing, just allow awareness to take up space in and around the heart. Allow yourself to fully just rest into total presence. If the mind continues to wander off to the future or to the past or out of the moment, then you can always come back to the mantra Sat and Yam. So there is space to make this practice yours, to take what you need from this time, and only you can know what tools and techniques feel needed in this moment. And you don't need to judge that. This is about a connection to the part of you that goes beyond the judgmental part of consciousness, goes beyond the ahamkara, the ego part of the mind, the I-ness. Connecting with the heart space, connecting to this place that is more of this drop in the ocean of connection to oneness, to wholeness, to interconnectedness. So with or without the mantra, with or without the mudra, just resting the awareness into that warmth and radiance of the heart. Letting awareness almost invite a softening. And I'll be quiet and I'll guide you out shortly. And bring your awareness back to your body and back to your breath. You might intuitively want to allow some bigger breaths to take up space and move through you in a more intentional way, or you might feel as though you want to keep that more steady and more subtle breath for a little longer. When the body's ready to move, you can begin to maybe brush the thumbs over the other 4 fingers, circle out the wrists, or make any other little movements that welcome you back into your body and back into this space. And let the hands come together at the heart space, thumbs to the heart and chin to the chest, and just take a moment to pause and feel. Feel the effects of this practice, and not needing to judge what's there, not needing to label with words whether this was a good or a bad practice, because remember, we can't have a good or bad yoga practice, we can't have a good or a bad meditation practice. And that egoic part of consciousness, that place of I-ness, loves to label things, loves to order and sort and organize and judge. So not needing to pay attention to any of those stories or any of those labels, but just feeling into what's there. Feel the space that's there. Notice what you can connect with within. Notice the internal state. And feeling grateful that you did carve the time and the space to pause and turn inwards and connect. And asking that these practices may continue to connect us with who we are on a soul level or on a spiritual level, our essence, nature, if you like, that truth of the self. Letting these practices help us to remember and reconnect us with that pure loving, pure compassionate energy and quality that we all have. And may these practices help us to connect with that pure love and compassion, and also spread that outwardly within the collective. And just start to rub the palms together and create some energy and some heat between the hands. And cover the eyes. And gently blinking the eyes open underneath. And slowly move the hands over the head, the neck, the shoulders, and just spread that energy throughout your body as you come back. Hari Om, Namaste.